Hello YouTube, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. It is Simbala at Simbala Designs and Insights. So thank you for coming back. It's been a while since I've recorded a video, so I'm happy to be doing this again. I've been wanting to record for a while, but it's hard, and I'm still getting comfortable with how I speak and speaking clearly and getting my point across without having to think too hard. But it's not easy, so I think the best way to do it is to keep doing it. So here I am, back with another video. And please pardon me if you hear background noise. I am using a microphone today, but I don't have sufficient padding or anything like that in this space, so there might be some background noise today. Eventually I'll work on it, but this is where I'm at right now. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better than it has been in past videos. So today I wanted to record another episode of Shadow Talk. So this is my second episode, and the first one I kind of delved into my experience as what some people like to call a twin flame. But the more I researched this phenomenon or idea, I recognize that it's like a certain level of the spiritual journey. And essentially it's again about coming back to the self, finding out who we are. So that's what the name of this video is, Who Am I? And in the past several months, so let me think, when's the last time I recorded a video? I don't even know when the last time was that I recorded a video, but it's been a while. It's been more than a few months. So I'm glad to have finally gotten the courage or the energy to make another video, because it does take a lot of energy, and also just it takes practice, and I really need to practice more so that I can speak more clearly and so that my stories are more fluid. I don't like to edit my videos because it takes too much time, so if I can do them in one take, that is ideal, and that's what I will be attempting, as I have been in the past and will keep doing. So to kind of bring, summarize my previous video, I was talking about the twin flame journey, or my twin flame journey, and how I had made a connection with somebody in Mexico, and it was a very profound connection. But overall, I was recognizing that there was a pattern going on in this connection, and something that I've learned over the years, or not over the years, but in the past 4 or 5 years, is that if there's particular patterns, like repetitiveness, like cyclical things going on in certain relationships, and if they are to my detriment, then I've had to recognize that these particular relationships are karmic in some form or fashion. And it's not just for me, very much well is for the other person as well. So we are karmics for each other. There's a lesson to be learned for both of us in that particular connection. So with that last person, who I finally feel that I've been able to break free from energetically, there was definitely some lessons that needed to be learned in that connection before I felt free to move on and not feel obliged to stay in this cycle over and over again with this particular person. I know that any of my connections in life, I want growth and expansion. And if I find that there's not growth happening there, and things are only reaching a particular point, then that relationship or situation is not for me, because that's not the path that I'm taking. I'm not taking the path of repetition. I am attempting to take the path of growth and expansion. So my main thing that I had to overcome when it came to letting go and being free of that relationship, and I don't even want to call it a relationship. It was more like like a tie or soul tie or um, a spiritual bond in some way. Um, I had to free myself from guilt because it was a very guilt ridden um, bond, and that's something that I've had to learn to overcome because it's something that I learned in childhood, to put others' needs before my own and not into kind of tiptoe over other people's feelings and needs and ignore mine in the process. And so the lesson and this person kept coming back until I was able to learn that lesson, that it's okay to put my needs first. In fact, it's imperative for my growth and expansion. So I finally had to reach that point of, being fed up, or just, for me, it's like, and I hope this doesn't have to happen moving forward, but it's like I've had to reach a point of like anger, like rage, before I was ready to make the decision that this is not for me. Or, in some past friendships and relationships, reaching a point where I've been so blatantly disrespected to where I can't deny that this is not a situation that I can find myself in anymore, that I can continue with anymore. So I don't want to, I think in learning the lesson, it's like I shouldn't have to get to that point. I shouldn't have to get to the point to where I'm so worn out, and to the point to where I'm just, completely wrung out, where I finally am like, okay, I secede, I give up. I can't do it, or I'm cutting this person off, or I'm ending this job, and I'm ending this relationship. So yeah, it was there was definitely a back and forth of wanting to let go, not wanting to let go, wanting to let go, not wanting to let go, until I was finally able to kind of release in a peaceful manner and recognize that it's okay to not hang on to something that you see a possibility in or potential in, and essentially the whole thing was just an illusion. And again, it's to teach me to move away from things like magical thinking, which this is, people who've suffered from, childhood abuse and trauma. There's just so many things, something I've learned recently. And I've known about this, but it's like it's sunk in really recently, is this concept and idea of magical thinking that we acquire as kids to kind of escape our abuse or escape the situations that we're not happy in, or that feel inescapable. So we kind of find ways, either through fantasizing in our minds, daydreaming, or idealizing situations instead of seeing them for what they really are. So, and it all stems from just wanting to be loved and wanting to be accepted and wanting to be part of a community. So in that particular situation, with this particular person that I was bonded with, there was there was a pattern that mirrored things that my dad would do, which is you know, oh, maybe one day this will happen, or one day, things will be like this. So again, that feeds into the magical thinking of, I can hang on because one day things will be the way I want them to be, and one day they're gonna do what they say they're gonna do. Like one day it's gonna happen, and it never happens. So, but it's like I get caught up in the fantasy and in the loop of that, and the loop of disappointment when it doesn't happen, but hanging on to the hope of it's gonna happen. And yeah, that ride can be very difficult to get off of, especially if you're used to it. So I was lucky to kind of, it feels almost as if I was like under a spell, honestly. And I've come across other spiritualists or spiritual teachers, and this one in particular, um, I'll call out her name. Her name is Monette, and she has a channel on YouTube. I will put that in the description box because I think her channel is amazing. Um, but I think it was something that I was supposed to find. It was something, this channel was, aimed towards me. I really feel like it was a divine intervention that I needed, and a lot of her talks, a lot of the videos and the content she makes, it's like it speaks directly to me. So there's definitely a spiritual connection there, and it's just all very serendipitous and quite miraculous, actually. And so she had a something that, just a live that she was doing, and she's very like kind of off the cuff. She's very connected to spirit, so she speaks very quickly and she's a freestyle poet. Like, it's phenomenal. She speaks very poetically, and so that speaks to me deeply as well. And so I was able to really pick up on this one particular live that she was doing, and it changed me in some way. It finally like gave me the confidence and the realization that, it's okay to move forward, and it's okay to, step into this path of self-discovery and recognize that most of this path is going to be a solo path. Even if I do, actually, I won't say that, even when I do partner, because I do foresee myself partnering with somebody, even when that happens, no matter what, this journey is still a solo journey. And so I am in the phase right now of learning to embrace that. I've had many phases in my life where I've lived solo and just been on this solo journey, but I haven't embraced it fully. I've still tried to hang on to other people and situations, and draw in friendships, and not recognizing that I had these signatures within me that were drawing in friendships that were not for me, drawing in relationships and partnerships that were not for me, because I myself was not yet in alignment and have not yet released old patterns that cause me to attract the type of beings or situations that are not in alignment with what I want, which is growth and expansion. So I had to recognize my own loops and my own, merry-go-round that I would create for myself by drawing in these particular situations and people. So, yeah, coming to this place of accepting that this is a solo path, it's been hard. And just recently I've been having a really hard time with it. Like, I've been feeling kind of more, in a depressive state lately. And, I'm currently building an art business, and it's difficult. I've been working at this for several years, since like 2009 is when I initially started this. So it's like, what is that, like 13 years or something like that? It's been a long time. And I still haven't reached that. I still haven't had that breakthrough with my business. And part of me says it's okay. I just have to keep going. I feel like I'm on the tipping point, and that's probably why I'm in this kind of, you know, lowered state, because it's, when you're chipping away, it's always like right when you're at the tipping point that you want to give up. So I'm just trying to make sure that I stay committed and stay focused and give myself what I need when I'm not feeling, adequate, or feeling like I can do this anymore, or feeling like I'll even be able to succeed. My lower self, feels all the insecurities and all of the doubt and fears, and but my higher self is reminding me that it's already done. Like the success is already there. You just have to match it, energetically match it, match the frequency. So that's where I currently am, is kind of working on myself and tapping into who I am. What does that mean? Um, I've been avoiding myself for a long time. And that's this final step of breaking that tie with that particular person. That was the recognition that I had, was like, wow, this was like the final piece of the puzzle, like the final distraction. And it's not the final, because there's plenty of other distractions, like social media, television, just other things that I can find to distract myself from looking within and finding the parts of me that still self-sabotage and still try to doubt in what I'm capable of, and the part of myself that does not see my potential. So it's just, yeah, it's been interesting separating from that person energetically, because it's like, okay, now I'm finally in a space where I have to face myself, and it's not fun. I actually started getting into inner child work. I was inspired by this YouTuber. Her name is, I think it's Kris Godinez, or Chris, yeah, I think it's Kris Godinez. But she talks about this book called The Inner Child Workbook by, what is it? Catherine Taylor, I believe. And it's a great deep dive workbook to working with my inner children. And in order for me to really tap into my true potential, I have to work with these parts of myself that have been suppressed, emotions that have been suppressed, these parts of myself that I completely shut down at those particular ages, because I had no safe space to be me, and to cry, to shout, um, to express artistically, like to just be me fully. I recall, like in my earlier childhood, like maybe between 4 and 5, where I was being me and expressing myself. But I also recall, I have memories of those times of just being shouted down, or told to stop, or told no. No was like no was a persistent thing being told to me throughout my upbringing. So it's something, that becomes an inner dialogue of, no, I can't do this. No, you're not good enough. No, you can do better. No, this isn't for you. And I've kept myself from doing so many things that I wanted to do because of that inner dialogue. So again, now that I no longer have the distractions of these relationships that were taking my attention away from me, it's still hard to really look at myself and tap into what makes me me, and what has actually, not what makes me me, what has been preventing me, how I have been preventing me from being me. Because now, in my very ripe adult age, I'm not young anymore. I have to face this shit. I have to take it on. Otherwise, I mean, I am not one to believe like it's ever too late, but I don't want to hold back anymore. Like, I really truly want to begin to live fully and express fully and truly as I've always wanted to as a child. So it's catering to those children at different ages. And and figuring out what their desires are and reintegrating that with the adult me so that I can begin living fully and expressing more authentically and being the person that I always saw myself to be as a child. So, yeah, there's just, it's a lot. It is a lot. And it's scary. It's just opening that book, the Inner Child Workbook, was, it was, I hadn't even gotten into the work, the exercises. It was just explaining like what the book was, and I could feel like so many emotions welling up. And that could be, again, parts of my inner children that are just happy that I'm finally coming back home to self and going to reintroduce myself to myself. As crazy as that sounds. So I have these notes. I just want to make sure that I'm kind of going along with everything. So yeah, I've had to recognize that a lot of my traumas were just compiling, one after the other, just becoming increasing more and more over the years. And it's like it was becoming a habit to have traumatic experiences. And I think at the end of 2020 that was like the crescendo, where the tip of the tipping point for me when it came to traumas, because at the end of that year, just poor boundaries on my part, shitty friendships that I was involved in, letting people override my boundaries. My body took a shit on me, and I got COVID, and it was just, I was a freaking wreck for like almost 2 months. And I still don't feel like, I feel like I've changed forever from that. And so I have to really be with my body now, and really listen and be in tune, because I feel everything now physically. And it's just not easy anymore. So I feel like I'm really being forced now to really tune in with my body, because our body hangs on to everything, especially trauma. And it showed up radically in 2021 when I got COVID. So I'm well aware now of how sensitive I am, and how I have to be very gentle with myself, and just very conscientious of what I take in and how I'm reacting from it physically. So that's a pattern and a habit that I acquired over the years, is to be in trauma and keep traumatizing myself. And so as I've released that habit as well, it's like all of these things, like I have to relearn like how to live, like how do I be, like what do I do, how do I show up in the world. And so for right now, it's learning how to really accept the solitude that I need to have, and be in contentment with it, and be at peace with it, so that I can really do this inner work and learn how to truly meditate and sit with myself and hear the messages, hear the guidance, and the just, yeah, the guidance that I need to hear, and the whatever I need for myself, how I can attend to those inner children that feel abandoned at this point. So I'm just going to end this video here right now, and I thank you for joining me, and I'm happy to be able to share these insights and just express myself. It's it's kind of a tough journey, and especially when I'm not feeling very good. I'm feeling kind of in a depressive state. It's really hard to share, but I think it's necessary for me. So for whoever watches this, I thank you for sharing this space with me, and I appreciate you. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll be here soon.